Pretty nice looking toolbox. Got a tool rack here up on top. It's got the drawer liners. Got a large drawer here on top. Drawer liners, everything's finished. 13 drawers. And this happens to be the finished product from what we built last week. Welcome to another Memphis Monday. If you want to see how I finished that stackable toolbox we built last week, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to be doing today. I've been staining and putting some preliminary coats of polyurethane on the toolbox sections. Let me download the sections off the workbench and put them on the molly dolly, and we'll better define what the project is. This is about how it's going to look in his shop. I decided to stain it that dark color. I stained each individual box all the way around. It works real good. It's got a little blotchiness right now, but I think I can sand a lot of that out when I put the polyurethane on it and all that stuff. Let's go over and look at the problem. As you recall from last week, we had to put this top shelf on top because this top piece of plywood here will bend in and lock this shelf, or lock this drawer so it won't come out. This has to go on top, but the way it is now, you can't put anything on here. If he lays a tool or anything on here, it's going to lock that top. It's going to want to lock that in, and over time, it's going to bend that piece of plywood in. Let me go away and come back with a plan. Here's a plan I've come up with. I've taken the drawer out. I'm going to install this 3/4 inch sheet of birch plywood to the top. I'm also going to replace this original top that I installed, which is 3/8 inch just regular construction plywood, and I'm going to replace it with 1/2 inch furniture grade. Additionally, I'm going to install this 1.5 inch edging along the 3/4 inch. We'll take the 3/4 inch plywood and the 1/2 inch plywood and bond them together with screws and epoxy, which will make me about a 20 layer piece of plywood that's 1.25 inches deep. I'll be gluing and nailing this trim on. This trim isn't for looks or decoration or anything like that. This will actually be a structural member of this piece of plywood, which is why I cut the trim extra wide, extra thick, and I'm using two-inch staples instead of brads to install it. Okay, next thing I got to do is attach this 1/2 inch piece of plywood to this 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and the first thing I need to do to make that happen is to rough sand both pieces. Sanding these with 80 grit paper will make it a good, clean, level base for the epoxy to adhere to. Now, you don't have to tell me that there's other things that'll work just as good as epoxy in this application. I already know that. I just, from boat building, I'm just so used to using epoxy. I love the stuff. They say it's the best, they say it's the best glue there is. I mean, I've heard people say that. I don't have any facts to back that up. The whole point of the epoxy is to fuse both of these pieces of plywood into one giant thick piece of wood. And to that end, I'm going to pull them together with screws. Now you can see the concept. I got this 1 1/4 inch plywood top on it. It's totally rigid. The drawer goes in and out perfect. And I will round over this edge here after I attach it to the box, and that's what I'm doing now. And what I'm doing is I'm attaching the top work surface to the box using these 2.5 inch deck screws. I'm screwing through the trim, through the 3/4 inch plywood, and through the 1/2 inch plywood into the deck. What I'm doing here is rounding over the ledge that goes around this work surface. Ordinarily, of course, I would have done that before I put the trim on, but I needed the flat surface here in order to get the correctly position the screws. What I'm doing here is I'm applying pre-stained wood conditioner. This prevents blotchiness in soft wood, and I didn't use it on the rest of the piece. And now I'm paying the price because the rest of the piece is very blotchy. The front is very blotchy. That is real good clear pine, but I didn't use any pre-stained wood conditioner on it before I stained it. It looked good when I was putting it on, but then it soaked into the particularly soft places, and now it's blotchy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download those off the dolly, put it back up on the table, and see if I can't sand those fronts off and even out that color a little bit. You can really see this blotchiness problem on the top of this handle. See the light places and the dark places. I got the fronts all sanded down. What I'm doing here is painting the inside of the drawers black using ebony stain. Well, I got all the drawers painted. All 13 of them. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to go over here and try to stain this thing and see if we get any better results after we use that pre-stained conditioner. I bet we will. There it is. It's still a little blotchy. I think mostly it's just a lot lighter. You can see some darkness there, darkness there. I don't know what you can see on the camera, You can see kind of waves of darkness here. Well, I was I was a little nervous about the black, but you know, I think this this looks pretty good. Let's look at the some of the other ones. We got some drawer liners we're going to put in. Just well, I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble making myself do this. That blotchiness is just driving me crazy. Not real bad on that one. Let's look at this one. Look at it. See the black marks? Black marks, black marks. Now I could take these drawer fronts off, sand them down, and restain them. But let's go look at the top. Even if I take those storefronts, those drawer fronts off, and use some of this conditioner, I'm still going to get blotchiness. And I think this conditioner helped. But you can see I'm still getting that blotchiness because this I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those drawer fronts off and paint them hunter green. Now when something like this happens, sometimes we're tempted to call it an embarrassing defeat. But I don't look at it that way. To me, it's the stain didn't work out, and I'm fixing it. Well, I'm letting the paint dry right now. It's pretty dry. It's just spray paint, but these came out, they're just perfect. They're just stunning. That clear pine may not stain very well, but it sure does paint good. This is what I mean about the hunter green going with the brown of the stain and the black. For some reason, those three colors go together real nice. Here's a little close-up of where we're at now. These drawers turned out real nice. I kept this top drawer distinct because it is different. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut some drawer liners, real live drawer liners for toolboxes. I've never fiddled with it before, but how hard can it be? I tried cutting this with a utility knife, but this works better. Well, the stuff lays flat. It doesn't curl up or anything. I don't know which is up and which is down though. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just pick one. Okay, that's the theory. We cut some for the big drawer. So now all I got to do is cut this stuff to length. And go install it. And installing it is a snap. So there's what she looks like. Let me go ahead and install a liner in the other drawers. Well, there we have it. I've gone from melancholy to being quite happy with this project. We got the strong work surface here with the tool mat. The drawers are lined. We look inside the other drawers. You can see how good the green, the brown, and the black go together. The paint in the inside of the drawers really gave it a finished look. So there we have it, our stackable toolbox. I think my buddy will get a lot of good use out of it. Alrighty, I guess that's it for another Memphis Monday. I think we got our money's worth finishing this stackable toolbox. And make sure you comment and like and favorite and all that stuff. And that's about it, except the most important thing. And the most important thing is what? Be back here next week for another exciting project. Hey, thanks for watching. See you next week.